The Case for the Patriot. On June 19, 1775, the Continental Congress commissioned George Washington as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. Almost immediately, recruiting efforts began in every home, church, and tavern across the colonies. There were various reasons why colonists would support the American cause, but chief among them was a shared anger and frustration, because they felt no one represented their beliefs and concerns within the British government. The First Continental Congress met in 1774, prompted by what was known as the Intolerable Acts. This was a punitive punishment that British Parliament imposed to reassert their control over the colonies following the Boston Tea Party. Things like the Stamp Act and taxation without representation created a growing anger in the colonists, and due to their belief that their representatives failed them, the seeds of revolution were beginning to sprout. I remind you, because their representatives who were supposed to have their best interest at heart failed them. Well, we know the rest. As far as the reasoning behind the idea of the revolution, do you see any similarities today? Do you feel that the people you have elected as representatives act and speak with your best interest at heart? The explosion of trans people in your face and in commercials and on social media in a seemingly government-supported effort of normalization. The eruption of protests, some even led by our own representatives, in support of murderous terrorists. The soft-on-crime laws that result in community deaths, rapes, and robberies. Or maybe the wide-open border, which allows not only illegal immigrants and drugs to cross into our country, but those acting as terror cells, awaiting orders to wreak havoc on our own soil. Is the inaction of your representatives on these and many other shortcomings why you voted them into office? If indeed you are fed up, if you're frustrated, angry, then what? What then when writing and calling your representatives results in nothing? What then when your vote means nothing if one party or the other cheats to gain their power? What then? This, my friends, is the case for anyone who would use the sacred word patriot to describe themselves. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of The Constitutionalist. I'm your host, Ammo Dog.
I'm Charlie 556.
We are excited to be here again. Now, we have our special guest that we've been threatening to have come on here.
Gentlemen, you mean threats.
He is our good friend, Brian, and we're going to get him on right now. Hey, Brian, welcome to The Constitutionalist, brother.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
Doing good.
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Good to hear.
Awesome. Well, we're excited. We've been threatening to have you on here a couple of times, and you bailed on us last time, but now we got you cornered.
Absolutely. I'm excited to finally get a chance to get on here.
Yeah, man, we're excited too, brother. Well, me and you, we got a lot of history. We go back quite a ways. And for anybody who doesn't know, I was going to ask that you just tell us a little bit about yourself, if you would.
Well, I was born and raised in the mountains in West Virginia. I'll kind of make it short, I guess. So my son was born up there. Everybody knows how the opioids and everything was hitting all them small towns. It's still pretty bad in a lot of them across the U.S., which is sad. But I just realized I needed to get out of there, man. So I ended up, I knew joining the military would be the only way because I didn't have nothing, you know. They would send me somewhere, and me and the wife took my son and got him out of there. So
okay, so Christopher was born after before you ever joined, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
that's what I
don't even think I realized that, man.
Yeah, he was like a year and a half when I finally went to basic.
Yeah. Right.
So, but yeah, and then shipped overseas, went to England after I had my first base was at Cannon, obviously with you, but
right.
Daughter was born over there, and then met back up with you in South Carolina, and here we are.
So when did you first join?
I joined in May, on May 13th of 2003.
Awesome.
That was on my brother's birthday, and it wasn't planned, obviously. It's just the way it worked out. That's how I always remember that date, because it was my brother's birthday. So,
man, that's cool. And I think we already know why. You kind of gave us that. And you stayed in for how long?
I just retired on 1 June of 2023. A little over 20 years. So
Awesome, man. Thank you for your service, Brian.
yeah, absolutely, and thank you guys for your service.
Absolutely, man. Well, let me ask you this, man. How have things changed, do you think, from when you first came in to the Air Force until the time that you recently retired?
Man, quite a bit, honestly. That what I seen, and when I came in, and obviously probably when you came in, they took you to basic training and they broke you down to what they wanted, and you had to adapt to the Air Force's or the DoD's way.
Right.
Nowadays, it just seems like every year it had got worse and worse. When I was in, just the DoD's kind of trying to cater to the new generation of kids, and I get it; it's a different generation, but at the same time, my opinion, this is totally my opinion, when you have to start going through sensitivity training, and we're in the world's greatest force, like that's what we're there for, is to protect people. You can't have all these sensitive people and that's
Right.
just the way it is. When they started having us do sensitivity training, and I was just, I'm not here to walk on eggshells.
Well, no, that's fine. Look, we're here to talk about it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm here to protect Americans and this great country, and
Hell yeah.
they were just making it hard for you to do.
Right, yeah. So you hear the term woke a lot, and everybody's got a definition of what woke is, but I think we probably share the same idea of what we consider woke to be. Would you consider, let's say around the time you retired and probably some years before, do you think that there's a wokeness about the military today?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
And I don't know if you remember this, because I can't remember if he was our chief at the time. I'm not going to say his name, but the one who got sent back from a deployed location for calling a girl sweetheart on a softball field.
Oh, you know what? I do remember that.
That was all that.
That is
all
right.
that just stung with me, man.
Yeah.
And it was literally over. I'll tell the story. They were pitching. He was the pitcher. She was batting. She'd done batted like 3 times and hadn't even swung the bat. So he literally puts his glove over his face where he can't see, and he says, "I'm not even going to look, sweetheart. Please swing the bat."
Oh, wow.
Somebody, some lieutenant colonel or something heard him say it. Next thing you know, he gets sent home from the desert.
But
he's from Georgia. He's from Georgia, the deep south.
Right. Everybody
they
says
say
that.
sweetheart and honey and baby, and
Yep.
And now it's gotten even worse where 2 airmen are trying to figure out who's pitching and who's batting.
but they want to say, "Oh, we need to be diverse," but you can't change the vocabulary the way they was raised. Like,
no, absolutely. So let me ask. It wasn't the girl, the one who got called sweetheart. It wasn't her that turned him in. It was someone that overheard it.
Absolutely, it was. Okay. It was someone else.
Wow. And then this chief master sergeant got sent home from his deployment.
Yeah, and then
freaking crazy.
Just more. Yeah, they basically forced him to retire before he hit 30 years.
Dang! So he had to retire on top of returning home.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me, man. Wow.
So
see, I remember hearing a little bit about it. Yeah,
that really stung me bad back then, because I'm like, really, like that's all you have to say to get. That's how much this place has changed. Like,
yeah, to absolutely ruin someone's career like that. It's absolutely
a 30-year chief.
Yes. Yeah.
So I knew what they would do to
me. Yeah. Let me ask you this, and this is like switching gears here. Obviously, you see in the news the crap that's going on over in Israel. Do you foresee any American boots on the ground? Or first of all, what's your thoughts on what's going on in Israel? And then do you foresee any American boots on the ground in Gaza or in that theater?
Man, I feel terrible for what's happened to the Jewish people. And that's not just in Israel, all across, even the U.S. now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lock themselves in the schools, and
right.
It's scary. And I don't know, it goes back to for me, it's like, imagine if that was a white person, and I don't know, you know what I mean? A bunch of mob of white people doing a black person like that. Like how much people would be going crazy and
Yeah.
kicking
No,
people out of
absolutely.
school and all that, and they're not doing anything about it. But
Right. No,
anyway, yeah. When I
you're
seen Hamas is a bunch of bastards to me. When you see when
You're
you
right,
see them
man.
beheading, you know what I mean, dragging these women down the streets and babies, and
It's atrocious,
all that.
dude.
And it amazes me how many people's like, you know, all for the Palestinians and shit. And,
Right. No, I mean it's
yeah,
and it's
and I
absolutely
still,
true.
to be honest with you, I don't know the complete history of. I haven't never done like research way back that far,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like Israel's pretty peaceful. They tried to make peace when Trump was in with Saudi. You know what I mean? All
Right, and
those,
Trump had a lot to do with
they're all
that
for
with
peace,
the
so,
The Abraham Accords.
Abraham Accord.
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah, Abraham Accord. That's
Mhm.
right. So
Okay. No, I mean
it's terrible, man. And
valid point. What about boots on the ground?
History shows. Yeah,
You think that's
If you
going to
asked
happen?
me- If you would have asked me probably 3 weeks ago, I'd have said probably not. I figured we might start bombing or use our naval cruise
Right.
missiles, but
I
now
got
it's-
you. Yeah.
now it's getting. I think we're going to end up having to,
Yeah, I don't disagree, man.
because I think Biden and them's pushed around too long and let it get way too out of hand now.
I think so too. I think his leadership or lack thereof is a reason for a lot of the crap going on on foreign soils. You know, from Ukraine to this Iran talking a bunch of crap. It's because I think it all stemmed from the failure of that withdrawal out of Afghanistan. That's what I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That gave him the
That
green
made
light.
us look
Yeah.
weak on
Oh,
the
yeah.
world stage, and
That's when all the bad actors started going at
And
it.
he's continued that with this right after this shit happened. Iran, no. And then they attack us 20 times before he even tries to retaliate.
Do you
know?
guys remember when Iran threatened us under the Trump administration? And he said, you know what? Let that happen one more time. I'm going to take that as a direct threat, and I'm wiping y'all's asses.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the last damn time they did that until
Yep.
Sleepy Joe got in.
Yep, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Keep making that red line. Don't cross it.
Yeah,
No.
no, I said that.
This one.
There's
Cross
90
this line, you die.
There's 94 lines now.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely,
Running out of sand,
yeah.
believe it or not. Okay, so you've obviously deployed to combat zones, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I know you have. So a lot of us, we take home some baggage from different things that transpire when you're in a combat zone, and to everyone it's different. If you're PTSD, number one is it affects regardless of what branch you're in, what job you do. If it's out of your norm and you're in a combat zone, then I think you're susceptible.
Absolutely.
So knowing that, I feel anyway that part of what we can do as vets is a lot of times we go to the VA and you're having to talk to some person in a suit who's never even put on a uniform before, and you got to kind of spill your guts to someone who really, they got to look up what you're talking about in some manual or something because they've never wore a uniform, or they certainly haven't been in a combat environment, So I've always been of the opinion that talking about it with other vets is probably some of the best medicine. So I was just going to ask you, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, Brian, but when it comes to combat situations, what's the craziest combat situation that you've been in or that you've been a part of or that happened to you? And again, if you don't want to talk about it, it's absolutely fine.
No, it's fine. I haven't been in Afghanistan with the rockets and mortars coming over. When you just have to hit the ground and lay there with your face down, so you're just praying pretty much like, don't hit me in the back or right beside of me. That's But to be honest, after you're there 2 months, you're like, you don't even roll out of bed when the alarm goes off.
That's true enough, man. That's right.
I don't want to mess my sleep up. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how that's just how everybody adapts over there.
Yeah, I was going to say the body is amazing, and the brain is
too. The craziest thing happened to me, Doug, was I was in Jordan on a deployment.
I think I remember this one. But go ahead.
We were up on this it's what we call our bomb pads, you know, where
Right.
we got all of our explosives to build bombs and stuff. And we're up there pulling a bunch of components, and it's dark because I'm working night shift, and I hear this buzzing, and I'm in the forklift, and I hear this buzzing noise. It's very distinct, like sounds like 100 bumblebees going by you at once, but you're in the dark, but you can just hear this. Bzz. And then I see my light. We had these light alls up there, the light generator lights.
Right.
I see one of them just go out. I'm like, what?
Holy
And then
crap.
the other one went out, and then you can see these bullet holes hitting the side of this generator.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, so I shut the forklift off, jump out, and I'm telling the guy that's spotting. "Get down."
More importantly, did you put the forks down?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess I overbeared all the ammo.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we belly crawl. I get him down. We like belly crawl off the pad, and we get back down. And I'm telling supervision, and they're all telling me that I'm crazy, like that didn't happen. And I'm like, y'all go up there. Then they're like, come show us. I'm like, no, I'm not going back up there.
Right.
So no one went back up there. We called the security forces. They came out, and then they shined the lights. Sure enough, it's a bunch of bullet holes. Turned out, well, when they built this place, the Jordanians built their rifle range pointing right at us, and they didn't put a berm behind it. So friendly fire about to take us out.
Oh my God.
Some guys that are just training on a rifle range.
Dude, the whole time you were talking, I was like, wait, he said he was in Jordan. I can't see any bad actors like them under attack.
No,
I got you.
that's what it was. So, yeah.
God, that is crazy.
So CE was out there the next day building the berm because we were like, there's like 800,000 pounds of NEW you guys are shooting right into. So,
Yeah, were they Jordan Nationals doing that, you said?
Yeah, and then obviously, 2 days after that's when I broke my leg really bad over there. So.
Yeah. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Yeah.
something was bound to happen to me on that deployment.
Dude, I know, and I'll tell you.
I'm just outrunning the Grim Reaper right there. I'm like, not today, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I you know this. I told you before. I was like, man, if you don't retire and trip and fall into 100% VA rating, then there's no justice in the world,
Yeah.
So, and
I've had some, and it was always dumb stuff that
yeah.
But
Well,
like today we were smoking, and you was like, "Hey, I've known you like 10 years. Has your eye never blinked?"
I remember
I
that.
was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. You winking at me, man?
Next thing I know, I thought I was stroking out, and I ended up with Bell's palsy.
That's right. Yep. It's that I thought you were having a stroke that day. It was crazy.
Yeah.
His eyes, one of his eyes, his entire face stopped functioning on one side, and when he was blinking, it was just one eye going. And I was like, and I don't think you realized it at the time.
I did because you asked me that, and I was like, I was like, no, he's messing with me.
No. Well, thank God that was.
Turns out I couldn't feel it because all the nerves went numb in it.
That's right. Yep. Looked like Rocky. Adrian. Yeah. But look, man, so that was crazy stuff, man. Funny, but thank God nothing happened, on that deployment. I'll tell you, it was so weird. It was similar with me. I was in Iraq, and this was 2010, and we were moving some bombs around. They just built a brand new bomb dump, so we were actually taking munitions from the old section and populating them over in the revetments. These were the outdoor storage for the bomb bodies. And anyway, so we're out there and we're doing that, and I always thought it was weird because the new bomb dump was closer to the perimeter fence than the old one was. And I was like, that's kind of weird, but I was like, okay. Anyway, so I'm crew chiefing, and we're moving bombs, and we got a 40-footer out there, tractor trailer. We got several forklifts going on. Got a crew of like 10 or 12 people, and walking around, directing this and that where things need to go and what have you. And it's kind of like what you said. I looked, and I just saw like a dirt kind of poof, like a little cloud, and I thought, because there was a bunch of rocks, like river rocks that they put where grass would normally be, you know, they just dumped a bunch of rocks. And I thought, well, maybe in my mind, I was like, maybe the tires on that 7.5 ton rolled on the very edge of a rock and it made it skip across or something. You know what I mean? And it's in my mind, that's what I was thinking, because I couldn't imagine it could be anything else. Well, then this kept happening, and it was exactly what you said. I was hearing these little whirring sounds, and I was like, what the hell? And then it just, I don't know, I got a very uneasy feeling, and I wasn't sure of what was going on, but I began to have an idea. And so without wanting to create a huge panic, I just kind of casually rounded everyone up, said, hey, let's head back to the shop. Let's go get a break. They're like, Sergeant, we just got here. And I was like, yeah, I know, but let's head back real quick. I want to check something. He's like, well, why don't you go and leave us where? And finally, I was like, get the hell in the truck, and then everybody jumped in, and we got out of there. And then I went to munitions control, and told them what was going on. They had to call Mock, and anyway, they sent some folks out, kind of like you. And sure enough, they were firing small arms rounds at us, and from some farmer's field out there. So yeah, it was absolutely crazy, and I thought, oh my God. So, and then it's like, okay, well, we'll send some drones to look, and okay, it's all clear, go back out and do shit. I was like, okay. It was just kind of weird, I guess, but it's the way it is, man. Let me ask you this. Do you miss the military?
Not so much the military. I miss the people.
Yeah, I got you. 100%. I'm the same way.
Yeah. And there's a lot of us that retired right here, probably within 20 miles of each other. That a lot of them you knew.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that, like you were saying earlier about talking to each other as vets, and yeah, we get together and shoot the shit all the time, and it's really nice just to hang out with people that you can relate to. For sure.
Yep. And we got to see you last time we were in town.
Yeah, people that's been through the same stuff you've been through. It's nice to sit down and talk, because you can all relate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way I feel, and I think if anybody is struggling, it really helps. Yeah, I think you should get support from anywhere you can get it. And I don't mean to bad talk the VA 100%. I'm just saying that if you have the opportunity sometimes to speak with someone who experienced that, sometimes that is kind of the best avenue, to go to.
I agree, and I always encourage
some peace.
People, like, if you see somebody that's a vet and they're struggling, maybe they didn't have all the tools that we did when we retired, when they give you all the info you needed to get VA benefits and what all you.
Yep.
Because there's so much out there. There's no way you can retain it all, and a lot of these older vets, a lot of these programs probably wasn't even there when they're. Yeah. Now they qualify, but they don't know. So
I believe it.
I always tell people when I find out, like, man, if you're not at 100 already, then do your research, man, because there's stuff out there.
Right. You're absolutely right, man. Well, look, it has been amazing having you talk for a little bit, and I want to do this. I want to do this some more. I want to bring you back. I want to get into some funny stories. We're kind of getting on a time crunch, but you've got a ton of stories, man, and not all of them are like military related either. You've told me a lot of stuff about when you was back home and chicken fights and everything else. And dude, I want to get into that, and but we'll see what you're doing either next week or the week after or something like that. We'll see what we can do. But
anytime, fellas.
Yeah, man, we really appreciate your insight. And again, you're one of my good friends, man. And I think I was your first supervisor, and I ordered you to be my best friend. And that's no, I'm just kidding. But
see, it worked back then because I respected you. You know what I'm saying? You
get over here and like me.
But you do that now, you'll be the one in the commander's office.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Remember when I used to call you sweetheart all the time and nothing happened?
Nah.
He said no. I don't remember that. Yeah. All right, man. Well, look, Again, thank you for your service. I know a lot of it, of what a lot of that service, and it was you were one of the good ones. And you and I have probably the same list of friends, at least a lot of them anyway. And and all of them guys are special, man. We carry y'all in my memories and in my heart all the time. So, and it is fun to get together because, as you know, my kids are back where you're at and living there, and I try to make the rounds when I go back. So,
if I can get Charlie 556 to let me come and hunt one day in there, I might come down.
Man, you're welcome anytime, brother.
Heck yeah.
That's not even a question.
Yeah, come on our land.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. But
I seen those deer pictures you posted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I posted something.
Yeah, elusive little suckers these days, but we're trying.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys, and like I said, anytime.
All right, brother. Well, thank you very much, and I'll reach out to you soon, and we'll do this again, man.
Absolutely.
All righty, take care.
Awesome. Take care, bro.
All right, bye.
Bye. Man, he's just something else, man. He's always been a dear friend, and I'm glad that you know him too. So we'll definitely bring him back, and possibly some others too. So anyway, let's get into some craziness going on in the world, Charlie. What you got going on over there?
Lord, where do we begin?
I know.
Well, one thing I'd like to bring up tonight, because I think as we move forward, there's going to be, speaking of crazy scenarios, crazy things going on in the world, there's going to be more of them, and I think for the American people, they're going to be able, anybody listening to this podcast is going to be able to take certain things that your state and definitely federal government is doing unconstitutionally and relate it back to this bit of information I'd like to share tonight. And you can find this online. You can do a Google for a search on this individual. It's a fellow by the name of Saul Alinsky.
Yep.
And we've heard his name quite often the past few administrations, even an attempted administration. Hillary Clinton's one.
Yep.
The Obama.
Big fan.
Yeah, oh yeah. Barack Obama has quoted him often in his book, and of course, I think Hillary even did some college work on him. And
right.
There's no denying it. He's obviously a far leftist, and
yeah,
I don't even think he's
mightily
around anymore. I mean,
yeah,
this is some years back, but one of the I don't know, the scariest and yet most useful information for anyone in denial about the direction this country is going in was his 8 steps from democracy to socialist society.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely terrifying when you think of it. 8 simple steps that he says to take, a republic, a democracy, to Marxism, socialism, communism. And I'll list these 8, and you guys out there, just think about that. Think about these 8 as I list them afterwards. Think about the things that are going on right now, the things that are going to go on tomorrow, in the next few months, especially under this damn Biden administration. If we don't vote his ass out of there, it's only going to get worse.
Right.
This is just the first. We're not even done with the first 4 years, and look where we are. And then to have another 4. I mean, think about that.
Jesus.
So number 1 of the 8 steps is healthcare. Controlling healthcare, and then you control the people. I can think of Obamacare. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Having them rely on you.
Yep. Absolutely.
As a government. Number 2 is poverty. Increase the poverty level as high as you can. And poor people are easier to control. They won't fight back if the government is providing everything for them to live.
Yep.
And we could think of all sorts of things. I mean, they're going after the farmers. They're
Yep.
They're basically paying them not to grow stuff.
In
the hunting world, we call it CRP fields out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they actually pay you more as a farmer to not grow anything than you would if you had a great cash crop that year.
Yep.
So,
and selling swaths of land to China.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's you increase the poverty level by keeping the interest rates high.
Yep.
Inflation out the roof.
Thank goodness none of these steps are happening so far that you've listed right now.
Right.
But let's see what else you got.
Yeah, exactly. So the COVID shutdowns, making people rely on the government for golly, how many stimulus or how many checks did Uncle Sam send out to everyone?
Yep.
It's a no-brainer, and you can look at it by the most impoverished states, the ghettos as they call, just the bad parts of town. A lot of that is Democrat voters.
Absolutely, letting people stay in rental homes without paying,
right,
and creating this these rules to basically it's affecting everybody. Your landlord. His ability to make a living and all that.
There's more rights for the squatter than there is the owner.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, everything's upside down. But please go ahead.
Number 4 is gun control. This is a big one for us.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the second to protect the rest of them. Second Amendment is what I'm saying. Remove the ability to defend themselves from the government. That way you are able to create a police state.
Right.
Total control.
Yep. Look at all the countries out there that, I'm not saying they follow this guy's rules, but on that particular one they do.
Pretty much.
Look at Australia.
Yeah.
England.
Which the vice president thinks that we should be more like is Australia.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, Britain, Australia, pretty much any European country.
Any
be out of breath naming them all. Yeah.
Venezuela, Cuba, all those guys.
All of them, yeah. And all socialist / communist on most of them. Anyway,
number 5 is the welfare.
Yeah,
take control of every aspect of their lives: food, livestock, housing, income. Kind of goes along the lines of the farmer situation that I'm talking about. But hell, there's even some they want you to register your garden.
Yeah,
we want to know what you're growing.
Yep. Yeah, it's absurd.
Livestock is the same way. Kind of makes you wonder about these so-called mad cow diseases and these swine flus and these avian flus, all this stuff that just wipes out. You remember last summer when we had how many cattle died across Kansas and
weird.
Absolutely astronomical.
What and even smaller than that was huge. But look at the chicken feed situation.
Yes.
Where no one's hens were laying across the country.
Just about, yeah. If you had any type of social media, whether it be that TikTok stuff or Facebook stuff, you saw. But hell, I don't have that stuff, and I was able to see it from friends and family that were from a few chickens in the backyard to people that had just a lot of chickens.
Yeah, exactly. And they depended on it.
With the same problem. Even my chickens.
Right, your chickens,
problems.
And once we eliminated a certain brand,
Purina.
Yeah, Purina.
Yeah. There were others too.
Yeah, there were, but neither one of us used those, and boom.
Yeah, I mean, we saw things people feeding their chickens, everything from cat food to pig food, goat food, a mixture of all of those together, including seed, and then all of a sudden the hens started laying again.
Began laying again.
That's another example. Of course, the housing. I mean, you've got the Department of Human. What's it called? I'm sitting here drawing a blank now. The HUD.
Oh yeah,
urban development.
Urban development. There you go.
Geez.
Sorry.
Everyone, it's okay to have a Biden moment once in a while. And income. We know exactly how that works. It looks great on the outside. California raising their minimum wage to what is it, like $20 an hour now?
Yeah.
So McDonald's is forced to sell you a Big Mac meal for $18 or some absurd thing like that. What do you think is going to happen?
There's one of the McDonald's, and I think it was in California. They've been in operation for 30 years.
Yeah.
They had to shut their doors.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're now earning or would have earned $20 an hour, but because of that, I have to fire 7 of you. So sorry.
And close up shop so none of you are earning a damn thing.
Yep. Makes no sense. Number 6, that's definitely already happening. Education.
Right.
Take control of what people read and listen to. Take control of what children learn in school. We are there. We have a Department of Education.
Right. And we've been there on that.
We have men dressed as women with scary makeup on, reading and shaking their asses to our children.
Yep.
And they blame the conservatives for trying to get rid of books. Mind you, these are books with explicit language and sexual content they're trying to hand out in a library to a bunch of 7 and 8 year olds.
Yeah, absolutely absurd. And also, they try to label any parent who disagrees with such things as trying to put them on terrorist watch lists.
Right.
You know?
What
in the hell?
As they wave and shake hands with Hamas type people.
God, yeah.
Now, if that doesn't, if that doesn't boil your blood,
I
don't know what will. Number 7. We're not even done yet, people. How pissed are you yet? We're not even done yet. Number 7, religion. Remove faith in God from the government and schools. We know that's been done. That was done when I was a kid.
Yep.
And number 8, finally, class warfare. Now, I want you to think about this one. It's happening right now. Now, it's been happening, but in the news. It's all over the news right now, class warfare. Divide the people. And when I say divide, it could be wealthy against the poor, black against white, racial divide.
Yep.
Cause as much discontent, and it will be easier to tax the wealthy with full support of the voting poor.
Yep.
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
If we have white against black, if we have rich against poor, if we have Jews against Muslims, and all of this stuff,
and then you go into trans against others that don't support them,
or gays against hetero, all this different stuff. You have taken this large group of people, and now you have 17 different types of fighting going on between them. Meanwhile, the big players, the rich men,
north of Richmond.
That's right. They're doing what the hell they want because you are too busy fighting over something that shouldn't even damn matter, because every single one of you share the most important thing in common. You are all Americans.
Hell yeah.
So this is what they're doing to you, me, us. This isn't anything new. This has been had. This is a plan that's been in motion for a long, long time now. It's just that now they're not even
trying to hide it.
They're not worried about keeping the wool over your eyes.
Right.
They think that you're so far in their chains, that you're not going to do anything. You're not going to say anything. Well, the people said it when Trump came down that elevator.
That's right.
He helped America see what the deep state was up to.
Amen. So
we got a chance again in 2024, kids. And the point of bringing up these 8 things is, as we move forward in this podcast, when another story hits that has to do with this, we're going to go back to this 8-step program here. And we're going to correlate which one of those and show you that I'm not just talking crazy.
No, I'm pretty sure that everybody listening out there, listening to those 8 steps that you just listed, I know I was sitting here thinking of, with each step you mentioned, like 10 different examples going through my mind, and I don't have to reach back very far. I'm talking like in the last few days.
Oh, yeah.
You can reach back and think, yep, that's this, that's that.
Gun control is on the table.
Yes. Mass shootings, and we already talked to weirdness about mysterious mass shootings, and what have you. So, absolutely, man. Great bringing that up. And anybody who's listening, just like Charlie said, just keep in mind that if you can't remember them, look them up. Yep. They're readily available. Keep them on your phone, write them down, whatever you want to do, and compare every time you turn on whatever news thing you get glued to, agency, media group, whatever, and see for yourself. See for yourself how long they have been doing this to us, to each and every one of us.
Absolutely. So, the crazy stuff going on in the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of all this, what's going on out there?
Well, there's a lot going on, obviously. I mean, we can talk Israel till we're blue in the face, and it's the same old, unfortunately. Okay, so we know Israel's invaded Gaza, and they're unleashing hell on them, and we know in the same breath Israel is catching hell for defending themselves. That has not changed in almost 30 days of warfare between those two.
Protests have gotten worse.
Yeah, the protests here, the sheer amount of hate is what is unbelievable to me. I kind of haphazardly mentioned it on maybe the second or first even podcast that we did about Mel Gibson. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And how everybody was up in arms over what he said, which was crappy, don't get me wrong. But then you look and you've got did you see the photos or the video, what was going on in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
The thousands and thousands of Jew haters out there,
yeah,
and how they desecrated the gate around the White House,
yeah,
painted sloshing red paint on it and saying F Joe Biden,
which I agree with
that part. Yeah, but just to say
that's how
they're climbing all over it. And again, to me, I'm like, all right, well, how many of them got arrested? Are they being treated any way, shape, or form similar to any J6 people?
Right,
Probably not.
Newsflash, deep state. I think you went a little too far, and now your own damn people hate you now.
No, yeah. The left is absolutely chomping on the left.
Yeah.
And it is kind of amusing to see, but the way that it's going down is atrocious, you know? Yeah, and then even your elected officials joining in. It's mind-boggling. I don't get shocked by a whole lot of things these days, but when I saw the sheer number, and that's just in Washington, D.C.,
yeah,
they're doing this all over the United States. They're doing this all over the world. I don't know. To me, I think like, okay, what if you're a Jewish person who survived the Holocaust? What if you're an elderly Jewish man or woman walking the streets of D.C. with those tattoos on your wrist, and you're looking at people given the Heil Hitler sign all over again?
Yeah.
You know, what about the World War II veteran, the greatest generation that this country has ever known, who goes through hell and back, cannot wait to get home to plant his feet on American soil again, only in the years to come, after fighting this evil, right?
Yeah.
To come back to American soil to witness this shit going on over there. It's a slap in the face to every one of them. And I'll just tell you now, and this is myself included, in my generation, there will never be a generation like the greatest generation.
Right.
God bless each and every one of them. We will never see the likes of that Americanism again. So,
that's true.
I do want to talk a little bit about some tinfoil stuff, if that's all right.
Ooh, now my eyebrows raised.
Have you heard about this individual by the name of Diego Barajas Medina?
I have.
All right.
Have you guys out there? If you did, you probably didn't hear a whole lot about it.
Yeah, because it was one of those here today and gone tomorrow stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this 20-year-old kid, and he was the one who was found dead at the Colorado amusement park, allegedly armed with possible AR, handguns, explosives. I even heard something about fake grenades.
Yeah, some weren't live.
Yeah, some were live and some were fake. So what they know about him, or at least what they're saying, he was this avid gamer. His brother was mentioning he was addicted to gaming. He was up all night, rarely slept, and in the same breath said that he desperately wanted to be in law enforcement as a career. Very weird, all of the things that they're saying about this young man. Well, I'll just say that he may or may not possibly have scrawled this message out on the bathroom stall as he's loaded to the gill and also having ballistic wear,
at this
amusement park where and apparently there's like a huge cave system around there as well. And the message allegedly was, "I am not a killer. I just wanted to get into the caves." So that's pretty much the story.
And then he shoots himself.
Yeah. He's found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot, right. So at least as far as the news is concerned, well, there you go. Now let's go on to the next story. And I just wonder how many people are like, well, wait a minute.
Right. Now, I think that the narrative that the media is running with this is, oh, gosh, look, here was a would-be your next mass shooting suspect.
That's
Mind you,
absolutely.
this is after the main shooter, right?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe 3 or 4 days after the main shooter, this happens.
Right. That's absolutely their narrative. But my point is that it's in the news for all of a day or two, and a day or two is being generous with the length of time they left this story in the headlines.
I don't even know that I saw an actual report.
I saw an article. I didn't see any news thing.
TV time.
I don't really watch that much. I read as far as to get headlines and stuff. But yeah, and it was in there, and I guess, after reading it and going, okay, well, and then I had a couple of questions, and I went back to look, and it was gone. So, let's throw some theory out there a little bit.
Okay.
So allegedly, this guy was he had on this bulletproof vest that supposedly had a bunch of patches on it, all relating to law enforcement, right? And I guess what they want you to believe is that he would, like you said, he was going to be the next shooter to carry out this mass shooting in this amusement park. But at the last minute, got cold feet, wrote a message on the shithouse wall, and then blew his brains out. Right? And it's, I don't know, it's beacons go off to me,
Oh, yeah.
So, tinfoil time.
Mm-hmm.
What if this guy, we talked about it with the main shooter, the shooter in Maine, not the main shooter.
Right.
About how they did not look alike on those photos. I still stand by that, by the way. Those are two different dudes. But you have a guy dead, another self-inflicted gunshot wound. Can't talk to the guy, can't question him, he's gone. I don't know. To me, I'm like, well, is it possible that they picked this guy up and trained him up and said, hey, this is what you're going to do?
Threatening him with something?
Maybe they had a little bit of dirt on him. Maybe they threatened him, maybe that was his ticket to the law enforcement world. We don't know. And then, maybe at the last minute, he was like, I can't do this. I'm not a killer. And that's the message he wrote on the wall. And then maybe he did off himself, or maybe it was all staged to look that way. So I don't know. I just don't buy I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying there's nothing to buy or to not buy. It's just this story that shows up, and you're supposed to equate it to another mass shooting, but this one was stopped, and let's throw some more gun control talk out there and carry on and move on to the next crap.
Right. Well,
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. None of that.
Well, here's the thing. Conveniently, every one of these mass shootings has, obviously, it's a good time for Democrats to attack the Second Amendment. It's about gun control.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot of the secondary subjects as well within gun control. Yeah. There are, let's say, the Las Vegas shooting.
Mm-hmm.
We got, Democrats, the government got a chance to attack bump stocks.
Right.
They got a chance in another shooting to attack binary triggers.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular instance, if it would have went down, the government would have loved to tackle ghost guns some more. And we've heard Biden talk about ghost guns. So even in that report of this alleged would-be shooter was his ghost, and I'm saying finger quotes in there, his ghost guns that he used. So ghost guns, these are bits and pieces of weapons that you can put together. You can create them yourselves, basically, with the use of a 3D printer and all that good stuff. There's no serial numbers to them or anything like that. Be it as it may, I don't remember the Second Amendment saying anything about the need for serial numbers on a cannon or a musket or my AR-15 that you'll never take. But, so there's... It always seems to not only, it's going to attack the Second Amendment, no doubt. It's going to attack the so-called assault weapons, whatever that made up word means.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's always a little bit extra that they can go after. So I am not a killer, scribbled on the wall.
Yep.
Again, you have to say allegedly, but let's face it, the last time I sat down in a toilet in an amusement park, I sure wasn't thinking about scratching the words "I'm not a killer" in there before dropping a deuce. So it obviously was him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see the caves was the other thing. Because like you said, the
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But the amusement park, aside from the rides and all that good stuff, from what I read, they also hosted cave tours out there. So obviously it's in the mountains and whatnot. So I don't know. He just was, and take it one step further. This amusement park is surrounded by government land. I think it's either state or federal. I can't remember which one off the top of my head.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can trespass on government land. They catch you. So was this kid out there trying to see the caves on his own, maybe? Got caught. I just wanted to see the caves. I didn't want anything to do with this. So, and then now, like I said, put your tinfoil hats on, kids. But was this his, you're never going to get into law enforcement now, and they're just feeding him a bunch of crap on how he's just going to go down, in prison for years over simply ridiculous government trespassing. And
he's 20 years old, so maybe he's young enough to believe all that crap,
And then the other part of that too is where they're reaching these. And I say kid, I know he's 20 years old, but come on, he's a kid.
Yeah.
So and even younger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Just goes to show a lot of these. He's not the only one. There's been other shooters out there that they spend a lot of time doing these online gamings.
Right.
Where you are exposed to other people
and communicating with
them all over the world. You don't know who the hell you're talking to. I mean, I can put a picture of Snuffleupagus in that, as my icon picture, whatever
profile,
it's called. I'm not cool enough for that stuff anymore. So profile picture, whatever it's called. You have no idea who the hell you're talking to.
No.
So there is also some ideas floating around out there. Not only that shooting, but other ones. That they were contacted via the internet, via these types of gaming things.
Yep. And then that whoever was talking to them conveniently is never heard from again.
Yeah, never heard from again, but not before finding the ones out there with some deeply disturbed mental issues.
Absolutely.
And using them to whatever that entity out there that reached out to them, using them to that advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. So who knows? And again, it's I said it with the shooting in Maine as well.
Right.
The sad part of it is we're never going to know. It has become yesterday's news. A bizarre story that we're just never going to get any closure on. And if you read the article, his brother already sort of wrote him off anyway. He wasn't writing ahead and blah, blah, blah. So you're never going to get any kind of thing. So all we have is theories, and we're going to throw them out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the central lack of intelligence and the rest of them are going to make sure that you never hear of it again.
Yep. No lie. All right. So real quick, open borders could mean open season on you. Looking at some reports, 7,000 plus strong caravan en route to the U.S. Another caravan.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who the hell are they? Where are they coming from? The same old questions with every caravan or every encounter that they have that they're able to stop. So in September alone, there was over 269,000 encounters. So how many gotaways? That's what they call them, by the way. If they slip through, they're called gotaways. And you've got a ways to go before my border is secure, too. So out of this 269,000 plus encounters in the month of September alone, how many were gotaways? We don't know. October 2022 to May 2023, they say there were 530,000 gotaways. And that's probably a modest estimation.
Right.
And this is according to a New York Post article that I perused. 1.5 million since Biden took office, and this is as of last May. These are people in the United States illegally since he's been in office. Number will grow by the end of the fiscal year, which, as we know, is October to October.
I believe Congress happens to think that number is much higher, too.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I think these are modest numbers that they throw out there. So I guess, the obvious burning question is how many are terrorist cell operatives? We don't know. I saw a report today, and that was from the Department of Homeland Security. I don't remember the individual's name from there, but this was literally right before we went on. They were saying without a doubt, there are Hamas and Hezbollah operatives, terror cells in the United States, and they're waiting. They're just, So, and of course, now it's us. You got a whole Department of Homeland Security that's supposed to monitor this shit.
Right.
So now it's like everybody's responsibility, keep your head on a swivel and blah, blah. I'm like, really? What the hell? Again, wasted tax money of mine.
Absolutely.
Going to pay people who let bad actors through the border on purpose, probably.
Right. Meanwhile, Hamas, Hezbollah, we all know, is backed financially by Iran, who is still threatening the United States.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah.
Put two and two together. That's an ugly. Connect the dots.
And look at this. There were several Middle Eastern men that were caught along with some Mexican nationals at the border. This was a couple of weeks ago. They were caught with explosives on them, detonators and explosive. And like you said, Hamas and Iran have constantly threatened the U.S. So again, how many of those are gotaways? You have to ask. These guys caught with explosives, and I'm not saying that these are connected, what I'm about to go through, but with that many people that can get through the country undetected, the Department of Homeland Security telling us that, hey, you have terror cells within the United States, and they're ready to strike. So now we have an extra job to do to keep our eyes out, and which we will anyway, but just saying, we're going to do their job for them. But let's take, for example, and these are just a few things. These are some things that were sent to me, and then I went and researched them, and they're all legit. So in April of 2019 in Pennsylvania, you had 640 pounds of explosives along with 400 blasting caps that were stolen from contractors. They broke in to a semi truck where these contractors had a padlock on it, and so somebody knew what they were going for, knew where it was.
Oh yeah. And
they made off with that 640 pounds of explosives along with 400 blasting caps. Gone. The following month of 2018, May, more than 400 guns stolen from a UPS facility. They did not say what kind of guns they were, but these were on their way to various businesses, possibly, we have to assume, for resale. So that's 400 weapons. And then you have in 2018 in Memphis, the 400 guns that were stolen from the UPS factory was in Memphis, so here in Tennessee. And then you had 60,000 pounds of explosive chemical ammonium nitrate missing from a rail car in Wyoming. That was in May of 2023, so May of this year. And then you had in May, this was 2022, 400 bulletproof vests that were stolen in Manhattan. These bulletproof vests were supposed to be getting donated to Ukraine. So you have in a period of 4 or 5 years, all of these different things. These are not small potatoes, guys.
No.
These are not, it might be in a 5-year span, but this is significant stuff that has gone missing or blatantly stolen. And then you have, again, the Department of Homeland Security telling you that you have terror cells in this country.
And the problem, too, the Department of Homeland Security is a complete failure for what it says that it's doing. Number one, to me, it's the Department of Homeland Spying.
Yeah.
That is a piece of shit department that was created for no other reason than to spy on the American people.
Yeah.
How do I know that? Well, let's look at what they're called. Let's look at what their agenda is and see if this makes sense. The Department of Homeland Security works to improve the security of the United States. Fail. The department work includes Customs and Border. Fail. Immigration enforcement. Big ass fail. Emergency response to natural and man-made disasters. Fail. And anti-terrorism work, about to be another fail. And cybersecurity. That part I do believe because they're watching you right now.
That's
kids.
right. That's
so
right.
yeah, number one, you're taking it from a horse's mouth that it's more of a donkey. He's an ass.
He's an ass. It's great to know though that your hard-earned taxes that you have to give away go to outstanding alphabets.
Right.
Alphabet organizations, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel a lot safer knowing that the Department of Homeland Security is on the job.
Right.
Give me a freaking break. Man, these people.
That's why we say don't rely on the government to keep you safe. Don't rely on the government to feed you. Don't rely on them to clothe, all that good stuff.
No.
It is the Department of Failure. As soon as it starts the Department of, chances are big fail behind it.
You're right. And I'll tell you, you don't have to have a bunch of acreage to take care of yourself. You can have a handful of livestock, and you might have HOAs. If you live in a place that has HOAs, get the hell out of there now. Go find you a little spot somewhere. I know these days everything's expensive. Trust me, I know. But try to do things. Grow your own garden. Get you a handful of chickens. Let them give you eggs every day. Buy more chickens if you want meat birds. And take care of yourself. Can, preserve, grow some fruits. Just be self-sufficient.
Yeah,
Guess what? It wasn't that long ago that our ancestors did that. And if they weren't successful at it, we wouldn't be talking to you guys right now.
That's right.
So
even people living in an apartment.
Yes, you can.
You can still grow vegetables right out of the potting.
Yep.
Like
throw it on the old patio. Yeah.
You got plenty of those ivies, which are beautiful and look great, and all. Stick some tomatoes in there instead.
Yes.
A couple of potatoes.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be done, folks. It can, and it has been. We're doing it out here. And the more that you can not rely, because I'm going to tell you something, no one's coming to rescue you. Okay? I think that's what Charlie was alluding to. But if you talk about a shit hit the fan scenario, no one's coming to rescue you. Get your ammo in order. Get your weapons checked and on the ready, and just be prepared. And not for the sake of the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of your home. That's what you do that
exactly.
for. And your family. Anyway, I know that we can freaking tap dance on that subject.
Oh gosh, we'll go on all night and then some.
Exactly. But one other thing I want to throw out there. I don't know if you've heard this, Charlie, but there was a judge over in Connecticut, and he ordered a new mayoral election in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Have you heard this?
I did.
Yeah. So, and this is after he was presented with video surveillance of ballot stuffing for a dim candidate, right? And I looked at that video. You know what it looks like? It looks exactly like the video that Dinesh made in 2000 Mules. So my question is, how the hell is that any different? You're looking at people stuffing ballots, and it's blatantly obvious. It was to that judge, and guess what? It was blatantly obvious in freaking 2022. Well, 2020 as well.
Right.
So this is just for the sake of a mayoral campaign.
Right.
And that's hugely important to recall, but something as massive and way more important as a presidential election, then we're just supposed to be told that we're crazy.
Right. I think that the Republicans, I think they've, like I said, I get it. They have to watch what they say and do and all that stuff. And this goes for the media commentators and all that. We talked about that before. They have bosses. They have to answer to the man on Newsmax, Fox, all that good stuff. And so, the Republicans are scared. They're careful about what they say as well. But deep down in their hearts, they know the massive election fraud that took place. They have to. They would be absolute, complete buffoons if they don't. Or they would be working for the opposite side, which I do think that both of those exist as well. However, my point of that is that's why I think that they're kind of getting on the soapboxes this time in preparation for 2024, and they're telling people, to get out there and do the early vote. If your state offers early voting before election day, go into the ballot, and however it's done, they're asking people to go ahead and do that, because they're saying that, Democrats got a good head start usually on that. Republicans, by nature, usually wait until the voting day. That's when a lot of that crazy haywire stuff happens too, is on election day. You remember, all across the country, everything down to a pipe bursting.
I was just thinking that.
And wasn't that?
And they stopped and then carried Georgia on the counting the next day.
Oh yeah. After they
unheard
got all
of
the
stupid
counters
shit
out of there, exactly. So that might be the thing to do. Now here, Tennessee, we don't have a lot of that stuff happening. Everything seems to go pretty damn smoothly as long as I've lived here. Usually, the winner of anything from a mayor all the way up to governorship and even the presidency, Tennessee goes for whatever. That's usually in the same night. I've never seen anything go haywire, but
that's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly. But anybody out there living in listening to us from Arizona, or now it's even Georgia, any of these places, Pennsylvania, where
Wisconsin,
your elections have taken longer than that's something you might want to think of and get the early voting done, and
no matter what, and I'll just say it here, and there is no way that I'll ever believe that decrepit raisin who campaigned from a freaking basement won this election with more votes than Barack Obama.
Right.
I don't believe that. It was rigged. I will go to my grave believing it was rigged, and I don't give a damn who knows it. It is blatantly obvious to me. Remember, even this is how stupid they want you to believe, or believe that you are. I remember, and I'm sure you do too, the rallies that Biden had, and they were dry. Remember they were all in their cars. It would be like sporadic seats, but they'd also be in their cars. And instead of applauding whenever he said something brilliant, they would honk their horns. Yeah. So it was like, meh, 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 oh, yeah, and
wasn't that because of COVID?
Yeah, it was COVID, but it was the dumbest shit alive, because the cameras would look out onto the crowd.
Not too much, or you'd only see the 17 cars there. Yeah,
it was like a handful of cars and even less people, and then the seats are spread out. Well, there would be a lot more, but we have to do social distancing. Bullshit. Yeah. There wouldn't have been nobody there.
Right. And meanwhile, people waiting outside, the line stretching to Terre Haute, and to see President Trump. Yeah.
10,000 plus people. It was like a rock concert, and obviously they were there to see the dance at the end.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm doing it now.
Doing it well too.
I think so. Anyway, guys, I know that we're not telling you anything that you don't already know. But hopefully talking about it like this, and you guys listening, it just gets you talking amongst yourselves.
Oh yeah. I mean, you've got a government out there that's obviously, we know the trials going on, these bullcrap trials against Trump. They're trying to get him off the ballot.
Yes.
in several states. Yeah.
Well, beginning in Colorado, but I read that same individual is trying to get this done nationwide.
Yeah. And under a ridiculous false pretense.
Yeah,
trying to use basically hijacking the Constitution, the 14th Amendment.
14th Amendment, that's what it is, yeah.
To
all the way back to the Civil War.
Yeah.
That's what that was created for.
Right. That had to do with rebel officers. In other words, let's take, for instance, during the Civil War, Robert E. Lee,
right,
Confederate general of the Confederate armies, right? He obviously felt in his heart that he had to resign. He was already a United States officer, general in the United States Army. Mm-hmm. When the war broke out between the states, he went with his hometown or his home state of Virginia.
Right.
Resigned from the United States Army and then took a commission with the Confederate States of America. Mm-hmm. So that whole purpose after the war was to keep rebel officers from ever voting ever holding office
of any kind.
Any kind. That's
right.
what that was for. So even, of course, now what the deep state is doing is they're trying to, obviously they've been saying Trump is responsible for the insurrection that took place on January 6th, which we know is a load of horseshit.
It is.
But yeah, it not only it's a two-way thing. Not only is obviously Trump was never a military officer, number one, so it should negate it right there.
Right.
But he was never convicted. He's not even on trial for insurrection. There's the thing is absolutely absurd, but they will try and find a way. My concern is there's going to be some crazy judge somewhere.
Yeah, like that yellow tooth rat face one that he's got in New York.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, one of the more concerning things is that same individual. His name's not even worth remembering. The guy in Colorado trying to get him off the ballot both in Colorado and nationwide. He had said something, and it goes to show the gall of these people and how little they think of anyone who doesn't believe in their zaniness. And what he said was, we're going to use this 14th Amendment to make sure that Trump is not on any ballot nationwide, and we're going to use it as written, which, like you said, is complete lunacy, and basically prevent him from being the president of the United States, even if the majority of Americans vote for him. I mean, is that the biggest tear of the Constitution that I've ever seen? Even if the majority vote for him, he will not be president. And I really think things are going to go my way. That's what he said.
Sounds like tyranny to me.
I know. I got an answer for tyranny. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what.
I got a little box full of them.
I know. I got 1,500 answers right now. But I guess it's getting our time.
Man, oh man, what an episode, though.
Yeah. It was great having Brian on.
Yeah, Brian, thank you so much for hanging with us. That was awesome.
Yeah, we hope to have him on again. I didn't say it at the beginning of the show, but I just wanted to make sure to say it before we roll out. Look for us anywhere you get your podcast from. We are on YouTube. If you find us there under The Constitutionalist, please like, subscribe, share.
What is it on YouTube? It's at The Constitutionalist 71, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah. At The Constitutionalist 71. Yeah.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. Now, if you want to get hold of us on email, we are The Constitutionalist 71. That is all together. At gmail.com. So drop us a line. You know, we say this, we have, and we really mean it. We like to hear from you guys. Give us some feedback. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what you think we're doing wrong.
Yeah. Tell us how bad you want to hear Brian's chicken fighting story.
Oh, God. I can tell you right now.
You're going to want it.
You're going to want to hear it. Yeah. It's absolutely freaking hilarious. Anyway, man, we definitely, again, we enjoy doing this, but we want to bring you some good content. So let us know if you've got suggestions of what you want to hear. If you'd like for us to address anything or talk about something, just drop us a line and let us know. Other than that, I think that about wraps it up. Charlie, you got any parting words of wisdom?
I love y'all out there, America. Stay frosty.
Absolutely.
I hope you all had a good Halloween, and get ready for turkey time. It's coming.
That's right. Yep. All them holidays are coming.
Here we go.
Oh. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.